And yes, we are back with another one. Boom, boom, boom. Shout outs to you for making it back. Shout outs to me for making it back. All of us. I don't know what that was. But today, instead of blindly buying a game that looked good from a trailer that was in someone else's video that was just based off the trailer's aesthetic, I'm going to actually look at a review and then see if the game is worth buying. Because there's a pattern here I'm starting to see. These games. I think I wanted indie devs, not indie devs. I think I wanted games to be good so badly. I'm just gonna dive in. Surely it can't look bad if I like the trailer type of mindset, but that is just not true. That's just not true. So I'm gonna look at a review, let someone else suffer for me or enjoy it, whatever, and then I'll decide for myself if it's worth playing, if it's worth even taking the next step. Okay? Okay, let's go. Oh, change the audio. Ow, dude. Okay, let's go. It looks kind of janky, I'm not gonna lie. And it doesn't look. Okay, hold on. Let's just watch.
I wanted to like Ravenbound, a 3D open world roguelite based on Scandinavian folklore. A descendant system like Rogue Legacy, from the very outset, it's
Why? Dude, every time the game looks so much worse. Every single time. This does not even portray anything that was shown in the trailer. Why are you guys such scumbags, bro? Like, why don't you guys just show what's in the actual game for just one time, bro? This is crazy.
amazing. Developed by Systemic Reaction of Generation Zero infamy, it's pretty ambitious. There's a sprawling open world island to explore, dotted with points of interest and teasing you with freedom to conquer them. The execution begs to differ, though.
Oh
Even
my
as your wings
gosh.
spread out en route to fighting the final boss, the technical issues, combat, and world design threaten to weigh it down into oblivion.
Technical issue. How did this game released with technical issues, man? How it should not even be allowed to be purchased. That's so lame.
And that's a shame, because Ravenbound is interesting. The art style may not be to everyone's taste, but it's colorful while creating a sombering effect. Character models aren't realistic and feel kind of limited with their animations, but the surrounding environments are nice to look at. This isn't a game trying to wow you with its visual fidelity, so much as establish a mood and atmosphere to immerse you further into its world. Until music blares in just as suddenly as it blares out, or the environment strobes ever so slightly while running away, or becomes a visual mess when activating Raven's sight. It's raining or snowing. Set in a vault,
A
a
Raven
fantasy
sight.
island, the story concerns the Elri, who brought prosperity until betrayed by their sister, named the Betrayer. They created the Raven, a mystical creature of immense power that could defeat the Betrayer, but were exposed during the ritual and subsequently imprisoned in tombs. As a result, the Raven's power is incomplete, and it must occupy a vessel and grow its strength. This sets up the process of choosing a random vessel with unique starting traits, which expand as you complete challenges and unlock more with accumulated legacy. You start out as a human who can drain cards for coins, but eventually unlock the Ulvar that drains cards for extra damage, or the Simlar, which can do so for more mana. The goal of Ravenbound is to explore a vault, gaining different
Why do they? I don't understand. Also, with the balancing of these games, why? Why is the design so linear? Why is it always, oh, this specific spec is good with mana stuff. This specific spec wants damage. This specific spec wants utility. Why do you guys break it up? Why can't you just create interesting ways to combine them? The best part about Hades literally is that eventually you can combine like two powerful spells and get a combination of both and get utility from both. those were like the best runs, and it's far in between. It's not every run. It's like every other run, but the combination of power is where the fun is to be had, in my opinion. Why do you guys always go on these lame, boring, like arbitrary ways to just lock in power? Oh, mana, 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 mana this way. Power, 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 power this way. Utility, utility, speed, speed this way. Dude, how come I can't be fast and powerful? How come I like ugh, whatever.
Equipment and relics and becoming stronger to challenge an Elry's guardian and fight the betrayer. When you soar into the world of a vault and fly around, there are numerous points of interest to explore. You can go pretty much anywhere, but you can't just fly whenever. When landing and reverting to vessel form, you must find the nearest launch pad to turn into Raven form and fly again. It's
Why?
tedious, but it's also a sign of things to come. Regarding the vessels, you have next to no choice in the early going. Rogue Legacy offsets this by making the first new classes relatively cheap and throwing in some interesting genetic quirks. Ravenbound's vessels get a sword and shield and then gradually dual access some armor and either increased critical chance when frenzied or more armor for their armor, which makes the early going rough. When entering the world through a regional
So
door,
linear.
there are 2 waypoints. One leads to the town, where a side quest, singular, not plural, awaits. Another leads to
Singular.
the region's tier of hatred, which you must purify. You have 3 fragment slots, collecting 3 fragments, which is done by slaying enemies, and you can empower them to gain a choice of 3 cards. These cards can range from better armor and weapons to more mana. Used to play said cards, relics that confer different effects, coins, and even additional relic slots. More cards unlock as you fulfill certain conditions, like clearing a tomb X number of times. They can provide powerful benefits like Dawn's Rod, which consumes all of your focus with an attack to deal 700% increased weapon damage, or Vined Amber Goblet, which inflicts Spored or nearby enemies when using Surge. Unlocking each card provides a goal to strive for over multiple runs. They're also tied to a specific fragment element, of which there are 5, so you can farm enemies with those specific elemental fragments in the hopes of getting a specific weapon or item drop, or even specializing in certain types of damage. There's still RNG to deal with, and
No, that goes against the principle of this genre, man. Players want to be thrown in a world that is beautiful, that feels fun, that is immersive, and they want to fulfill a fantasy. They don't want to be limited to what can be done, what you want them to do. They just want to be exposed to random, positive, differentiating abilities and utilities and stuff. I think having the card system is a good way to facilitate that. It's an easy way to access that while still being kind of random. But why would you want to farm anything in the run? You eventually have to beat the run. You don't want to spend an hour, hour and a half, or even more than 5 minutes at a spot. Like, why would you want to farm in a roguelike? That goes against the principle. You shouldn't want to farm. You're supposed to keep going. And if you don't make it this run, okay, you do a little better next run. Why would you want to farm?
based on my experience, it can go either way. Of course, that's not the only issue you'll have when getting geared. It's highly advised to go for the tier of hatred first, because in Ravenbound, any attempts to gain power, like collecting fragments, opening chests, and so on, grants hatred. Empowered too many fragments, one of your slots is permanently locked due to hatred, resulting in fewer.
And then there's this, bro. Why is there always a negative? Why is there always some you do too much of this and you get punished? Bro, I'm playing a game. Why am I being punished in any aspect of the game? Let me have fun with the game. What is wrong with you guys, bro? How do you not understand this?
Were card choices. Opening a chest in a corrupted area, you absorb a slot's worth of temporary hatred, which only goes
stupid.
away when empowering fragments, further reducing your card choices, and you gain some permanent hatred.
Stupid.
Each permanently locked slot of hatred grants 5% more damage to bosses and elite enemies, so while you may or may not become stronger, your toughest foes are scaling up. It's all the more annoying with elites because they have the best loot and usually attack in groups of 2 or 3. Now imagine dealing with that when they deal more damage and take longer to die relative to your morality. Clearing a tier of hatred lets you explore the space around it without fear of hatred from the surrounding points of interest, while also gaining free mana to play any cards found. However, these are fairly limited in their rewards. Past that, everything else is corrupted. So while there's a huge world to explore, hatred drastically reduces your choices. Better hope you get some decent cards from the freebies and don't run into some particularly powerful elites that can quickly destroy you.
I distinctly remember liking this game because the devs were like, yeah, we're using AI to make sure the enemy never feel repetitive or boring to play, and they kind of get used to what your player experience is like, and they kind of adjust themselves. I distinctly remember that being something that they said in the interview. And yet, you think they would make it out to like, you think combat would be the best part of the game? It looks like he's just sliding away. That's like the dodge. Whenever they're about to attack, slide away, then you just recoup back up. They're not like following up with anything or trying to change or this pretty I don't know, flat.
Also, there's no map, so if you have to go to town to
No
heal
map.
and come back to clear out the remaining non-corrupt sites near a purified tier, it can take a while to find them. The waypoint for the tier also disappears after it's purified, presumably because more than 2 waypoints at a time is difficult for the engine to handle. There is a way to sort of game the system by locking one of your slots with permanent hatred, thus reducing the number of fragments required to draw more cards. By collecting aspects of hatred from corrupted chests, you can essentially pick up a fragment, roll a new card, cleanse the second slot, pick up another fragment, collect the chest loot, and repeat this process in another location. However, your card choices are still limited and RNG based, while the mana is limited. Some chests grant mana, but you'll need to seek them out. When you've empowered enough fragments, you can tackle a Guardian that's keeping an Elry captive. Defeat the Guardian, and the Elry will cure your active hatred. You're then sent back to the starting tower, and you can choose a different door in future runs, starting you out in, say, a rocky plateau and desert region or snow-covered mountains,
I like that.
instead of the initial forest. It's a lackluster reward, but at least you've completed some challenges, earned some legacy to unlock more traits like new.
Oh, that's the reward. You just start somewhere else. Dude, why not make me feel overpowered? Why do these games not want you to be OP? Risk of Rain 2 is so good because you literally can break the game. You can become so broken. You can become so broken in Risk of Rain 2. Why is this the only game? I mean, why is that the only game that lets you actually push the boundaries of power?
New weapon types and races for future runs, and encounter more diverse relics. However, you're still bound to the same gameplay loop. Go to the Tier of Hatred, cleanse it for free mana, and some non-corrupted loot nearby. Go to the town and take a side quest for some coins, empower fragments, and maybe get stronger. Repeat. It's even more monotonous because there isn't much variety to the points of interest. Every single one involves jumping in and killing enemies. The enemies become more varied over time, from Huldra and Draugr to trolls, and they do have different, albeit simple, patterns. You also start seeing random chests and groups of enemies with banners near launch pads, preventing you from flying away until they're cleared. But it's all just fighting. No minigames, timed platforming challenges, puzzles, NPCs with riddles, fishing, or more than one side quest per region to mix up the gameplay. That side quest also involves killing, by the way, so it's fairly moot. There is some lore on stones and sites.
See, it's like, dude, why haven't you guys tried to deviate at all? Hades released so I know people are probably thinking, why you keep bringing him Hades? Why you keep bringing him Hades? Dude, Hades created a huge wave for this type of game. This is why, in my opinion, people started trying to do story-oriented versions of this genre. Because if you have a compelling story, you can kind of have lackluster gameplay and combat because it's not really. Because I guess to them, they think, oh, it's nothing special. No, dude, Hades feels amazing to play from the second you start playing to when you stop playing. It feels very reactive, fun, intuitive. Like, it's just amazing top to bottom. As far as when you clear, this, like the time invested per clear, like it's all so well thought out. No one wants to spend an hour plus doing these runs when they're not even fun. The reward for clearing them is lackluster. And sometimes they're kind of fun, but if you've cleared it once, there's no reason to go back again. Come on, bro.
to discover that confer some legacy.
What I'm saying, like, at least make. So this game has nothing but combat. There's nothing wrong with nothing but combat. I think all action can be good, but make it fun. What's the? There's like a game. Uh, I have it on Steam. Hold on. See, what is it? What is it? Is Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. Dude, this game is basically that. You go from one location, one location, one location. You fight, you fight, you fight. There's interactive elements happening around from time to time, so it's not super boring. But the combat feels good. Like the upgrades feel good. This is not a roguelike, but it does combat and like how you play it really well. How heck? And this game released. When did Shadow of Mordor? When did this release? Hold on. I don't know if that's gonna even come up. 2014, bro. So it was released in 2014. How come that game managed to have fun combat that is pretty, it's nothing game breaking, but it's fun. Monotonous sometimes, but it's fun. 14 years, bro. Oh wait, what? 2014. So that was actually 9 years ago. 9 years ago. And then you have this. Basically the same thing, except there's no story. There's no like none of the you don't care about the characters. But it's worse. How? 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 It's basically the same game. Honestly, because when you die, there's bro. It's basically the same game. And yet this game came out 9 years later, and it's still like how, bro?
But the world feels pretty barren most of the time. The
How?
towns desperately need more upgrades outside of spending coins for a random assortment of cards, and or healing and buying weapons. More personalities among the NPCs would also be welcome, and instead of constantly returning to a town to heal, it would be nice to have some portable healing solution that could be replenished. Since combat is a core component, it has to be on point and well done. It has to
Exactly.
encourage you to return for more. Ravenbound's combat is very hit or miss. You have the standard light and heavy attacks, and both can be charged to deal more damage to break enemies and stagger them.
And then these charge attacks, bro. Charge attacks are not fun. I'll say it again. Charge attacks are not fun. Charging a spell is okay. Charging an attack is okay. If it has like longevity in whatever you're charging, like if you're charging up a swing, if it's a damn powerful swing, that's fine. But just a stronger variation of the same attack is not fun. It's not cool. It's not, oh, this is so. No, dude. It's not fun. Either, like, no. Stop being lazy. Make a different move. Make a different variation. How come Devil May Cry can do it, but no one, like, you guys can't, bro? Like, just make actual combos. It's not even hard. X X X, or okay, rather because they're doing a one swing like a little pattern anyways. So why not do light, 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 heavy, light, light, heavy, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light, 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 up heavy, light, 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 down heavy. Like it's not even hard.
You can also guard against attacks, which is more like a parry and makes you temporarily invincible if performed right, or evade an attack at the last second to become frenzied for a damage bonus. There's also Surge,
That's
gained
fine.
by attacking enemies, and when activated, it also provides a brief damage bonus. When taking damage, you'll have a gray area of health which will deplete after some time. Damaging foes will restore that missing health, so picking up a relic which increases the window that gray health remains is good. Other relics, equipment, and traits.
Like this doesn't look fun, bro. He's just one, two, one, two, 1, 2, one. Like, nah, come on, bro. I can at least knock him up in the air. At least let us jump and fight, bro. Kingdom Hearts, another like I said, you don't need super fancy combos, but you need variation. Kingdom Hearts is basically the same thing. Go to point one, go to point two, go to point three, city, story. There's a long alleyway. There's going to be enemies that spawn in this long alleyway that leads to this other alleyway that leads to these other. Like, you're basically going from point A to point B to point C to point C to point D, whatever. But the combat in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 never feel boring. It never feels stale. So how can games like that came out 10 plus years ago got it right, and games like today just can't, bro? Guys aren't even trying. I'm not gonna say that. I just think there's just a lack of innovation, and it shows. Like,
It can provide
I'm just saying, bro. Like, look at the game, bro.
unique effects, like a well-timed guard inflicting weakness and bleeding on an enemy, reducing their overall attack power and applying damage over time status. Of course, you can't just guard against enemy attacks forever since there's a minimum amount of guard health.
Why not have a weapon variation? Why do you only have just 1, 2 sword, 1, 2? At least have another type of weapon or a different, like, something. Like, fighting is going to be the majority of the game, bro. Make it count.
Once that runs out, you're left vulnerable for a brief period. As a whole, combat is very spammy. Using guard to down enemies or assailing them with charged heavy attacks can feel good, but it gets repetitive. Two-handed weapons like the longsword are slower, dual-wielded weapons are faster, and that's more or less it.
Oh, there is variation.
Needed, ideally without being at the mercy of RNG cards. Of course, the combat can also be quite spotty. Sometimes you'll dodge at the right moment and still take damage. Other times you'll guard but not stagger an enemy because their attack actually didn't connect, despite visibly appearing so. As noted earlier, the enemy types can be pretty varied, even though their patterns are very basic. Expect a lot of jumping slashes, whether dealing with humans or creatures. At least the Guardians feel unique.
I mean, like imagine just, this is fine, but like, why not add a combo? Why not be able to knock him up or down him and do some type of different damage? He's just like, he's like a sponge.
Despite visibly appearing so.
Same attack, boom, 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 bop, boom, bop, boom, bop. They didn't do anything.
Expect a lot of jumping slashes, whether dealing with humans or creatures.
Combos,
At least
bro.
the Guardians feel unique, having distinct attack patterns and phases despite not looking that different from each other. There are also bugs. Some NPCs in town would suddenly turn invisible, though they could still be interacted with. Optimization
I mean, that's fine,
needs
I
some
guess.
work. Even when running the game on medium settings, there's still quite a bit of pop-in. Weapon audio just randomly muted sometimes. Some Holdras dealt lightning damage at the beginning of a new run, which is apparently not supposed to happen, and quickly killed me. The game is stable enough, for the most part. I only experienced one crash back to the desktop during a fight. The camera can also be finicky, having difficulty staying locked on Guardians during boss fights while not moving away from some trolls I was trying to escape from, which felt awkward.
Look at the UI on the numbers, man. Look at this, hold on. Let me maximize it again. I don't know why I didn't.
During boss fights while not moving away from some trolls I was trying to escape from, which felt awkward given my low health. As I said at the beginning, I wanted to like Ravenbound, and there are certain endearing things about it. Alas, it's just a list of could've and should've. The hatred system could have been a fun risk and reward mechanic. Combat should have been a fun amalgamation of dodging, parrying, and slashing. The world could have been full of life and unique secrets to uncover. I should have been able to fly anywhere at the drop of a hat. Instead, I just remembered there's a janky grappling hook. Such is its impact on the gameplay. Unless grappling up a mountain is a game changer for you, that is. Ravenbound could still very well live up to its potential as a roguelite hack and slash meets 3D open world. However, its combat, world design, enemy variety, hatred system, towns, NPCs, performance, environmental effects, and more still need some serious work. And that's before adding any new
5.
gameplay.
This guy's generous.
Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.
Man. My thing is, if you're gonna go, here's my big thing. Here's the big thing I'm gonna end the video. If you're gonna relax, if you're gonna actually do like interviews with the devs and speak about your game highly and go like beyond the cameras and like show your face and throw your name out there, put like genuine some thought and time into trying to make something different. Don't release something that is just gonna just like it's gonna be okay and over time we'll make it better. In my opinion, that's not the right attitude to have. It can work out in this day and age because you can have a bad game and with the right patch it can become a good game at the right time. That has happened before. But I believe if you release something on release, it should be playable. If you're gonna put like I said, if you're gonna do the behind the cameras thing, bro, be proud of what you put out there and make it something different and new and fun. That did not look fun, but that's just my opinion. I didn't play the game. I'm not gonna play the game. Save me some time. So shout outs to this guy. Gets my he didn't I wish he would have shown the other weapon, but yeah, no, these guys obviously missed the mark with this one. Roguelikes are not about restrictions, and open world combat is just not about going from place to place. Open world combat is about decision. The player wants to make their own decisions based off the elements in the world. They don't want you to tell them where to go in the open world. That's not really open world. You just have you just have a bunch of polygons and pixels that are empty. So that's my opinion. That's his review. I'll leave it in the description if you want to see it. I don't comments. Let's see what the comments say. Single player mode requires a persistent online connection. Single player mode. What? It's full of technical bugs. Also, it's another roguelike, which I'm personally sick of. Yeah, this one's an easy pass. I felt like a slog. Sounds like a pain in the ass. Online only means not for me. Sounds like a complete repetitive experience. Really not fun. I don't know. Maybe the reviewer made it seem like that, but if if the game doesn't have anything else to show, then that's that. Like, yeah. Anyways, hard pass. Thank you for saving me $30. I appreciate you, Gaming Bolt. And I hope you guys have a good day. You know the motto. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.